The collapse of the petrodollar is no longer a theory, but an operational reality in the markets of Asia. Global debt has surpassed $300 trillion, transforming every banknote in your pocket into a broken promise of value. The master plan for the redistribution of world power is being executed today through the manipulation of interest rates. This is the definitive report on the invisible threads moving the board. Oil ceases to be a mere commodity and becomes the ultimate backing mechanism for emerging currencies while the West faces a debt trap with no fiscal exit. Welcome to the analysis of the forces that will determine who keeps their wealth and who loses it in this decade. The global economy operates today under a logic of survival that mainstream media refuses to explain. The invisible thread of oil has been the sole real support for the United States dollar for 50 years. However, that agreement has expired. Saudi Arabia and the Gulf countries have begun to settle their exports in multiple currencies, marking de-dollarization. It is a declaration of financial independence that forces Washington to reevaluate its ability to print money. If the world no longer needs dollars to buy energy, the demand for the American currency will plummet, provoking devaluation. That will affect every price in the supermarket. Let us talk about the second thread, the unsustainable debt. The master plan of governments is not to pay the debt, but to liquefy it, with a public debt surpassing $34 trillion. The interest payments already exceed the defense budget. This is a mathematically unsustainable situation for any nation. The only way to manage this mountain of obligations is through targeted inflation, a silent transfer of wealth. Central banks keep rates below real inflation so that the value of the debt decreases while the citizen loses power. Central banks keep rates below real inflation so that the value of the debt decreases while the citizen loses power. Moving to geopolitical repercussions, the axis of power has shifted to the east. China is now the world's creditor. They are the main trading partner of more than 120 nations. Their plan avoids military confrontation. Rather, they seek the control of capital flows and raw materials. Beijing is securing the resources of the future. By financing infrastructure in Africa and Latin America, they secure access to lithium, cobalt, and rare earths. Meanwhile, the West is trapped in internal political disputes that prevent a coherent strategic response to this shift. The invisible threads of trade are now being woven in Mandarin. The international banking system shows cracks. The rise in interest rates has revealed the fragility of balance sheets loaded with devalued bonds. It is a crisis. Every time a central bank intervenes to rescue an institution, it is throwing gasoline on the fire of inflation. Every time a central bank intervenes to rescue an institution, it is throwing gasoline on the fire of inflation. They are accumulating gold at a rate not seen since World War II. They know the truth not told in press conferences. Paper has an expiration date, but gold is eternal. The pivot to hard assets is the final admission of failure. The impact on society is immediate and devastating. Inequality accelerates due to the structure of the system. Those who own hard assets see their wealth grow in nominal terms. The worker dependent on a salary is losing. However, the worker finds themselves in a losing race. The middle class is being dismantled to sustain the system. This is the true thread that moves power, the ability to control who has access to credit and who must pay. The master plan includes a forced energy transition that has less to do with climate and more to do with control. The green agenda allows governments to subsidize new industries and penalize traditional competitors through taxes. This creates a new dependency on supply chains controlled by Asia. Minerals are the weapon of the century. Whoever controls these materials will have the power to stop the economy by simply pressing a logistical button. The energy transition is in reality a reconfiguration of global vassalage. Private debt is equally critical. The global consumer has reached the limit of their debt capacity. Credit cards are reaching delinquency levels. This reduces consumption and slows growth, creating a stagflation scenario. High prices with a stagnant economy. It is the worst of all worlds for central bankers who find themselves between the sword and the wall. The house of cards built on cheap credit is trembling under the weight of real interest rates. Technology is the fourth thread. Artificial intelligence and central bank digital currencies are the tools that will implement this new order. The goal is total traceability of money. If the state can program your spending, economic freedom disappears. This is not science fiction, it is the logical step. Technology is being deployed as an invisible cage. While this happens, wealth protection is no longer optional. Traditional diversification is dead. Smart capital is moving. In a world of structural inflation and massive debt, bonds are guaranteed confiscation certificates. Act now. This is the great reset of investment portfolios. Those who do not adapt will see their savings evaporate. Passing to emerging markets, they are at a crossroads. Mexican and Brazilian wealth gives them new power. Their master plan is to create alternative payment systems without passing through the SWIFT system, a power change. If they achieve disconnection, the map changes forever. Military industry is becoming the engine of the economy. The increase in tensions is a mechanism to justify massive public spending and technological innovation. War is stimulus. If they achieve disconnection, the map changes forever. Military industry is becoming the engine of the economy. The threat of war is linked to debt. An external enemy is needed to justify internal economic sacrifice. The gravity is extreme. Any error in interest rates could trigger a domino effect in financial derivatives. We are talking quadrillions. The rules of the game have changed. Those using the 20th century manual will be trapped in obsolescence. Nothing is accidental. Every crisis is an opportunity to restructure control. Every change is a signal of where real power is moving. Every crisis is an opportunity to restructure control. Every change is a signal of where real power is moving. Industrial production in Europe shows a structural contraction. The loss of cheap energy is a death sentence. Meanwhile, Asia is working at full capacity. Money follows energy and energy is moving east. This is the reconfiguration. This is the first part of our special report. We have analyzed how oil, debt, and power are intertwined. Tension rises. The next movements on the board will be decisive for the fate of currencies and the wealth of nations, beyond the macro. The real battle is being fought in the plumbing of the global financial system. The transition is a daily reality. We are witnessing the dismantling of SWIFT through Project M Bridge. This digital bridge allows bypassing New York. As of 2026, more than 40 nations have expressed formal interest in joining this alternative network. Dollar hegemony is obsolete. While the world watches headlines, the master plan for resource control is accelerating across the global south. China has refined its debt for equity swap model. By providing loans repayable in physical commodities, Beijing is backing growth. It is a global reversal of the colonial extractive model, but this time the capital is flowing from the east, uninterrupted. In the heart of the system, the United States Treasury market is entering a dangerous feedback loop. Deficit funding crowds out. Recent auctions have shown a significant drop in foreign demand, particularly from traditional holders like Japan and oil states. When the world's premier safe haven asset begins to lose its liquidity, the entire global financial architecture shudders. Monetization is next. The redefinition of power is now tied to the ability to command the middle of the supply chain. Processing is power. Asia controls 80%. Today, Asia controls the global processing capacity for critical minerals. Nations must pay tribute to the Asian industrial core. In Europe, the crisis of deindustrialization has reached a point of no return. Europe is isolated from natural energy partners. Without cheap energy and without the ability to print reserve currency, the euro faces a terminal crisis of confidence. Fragmentation begins. On the domestic front, the plan utilizes the cost of living crisis to introduce radical social changes. Dependency on subsidies is eroding savings. Under the guise of efficiency, CBDCs will allow for the programming of economic behavior linked to environmental and social ESG criteria. The role of large institutional investors like BlackRock cannot be overlooked. They act as the global custodians of wealth, mandating capital. Through ESG mandates, they are directing capital away from traditional sectors towards the new controlled infrastructure. Private interests align. Beyond the markets, the control of information through algorithmic bias is the final pillar of power. Data is the weapon, shaping perception. If the public is convinced inflation is transitory, the architects can continue. Narrative is the oil that keeps the gears turning. Stay independent. The master plan is moving into its endgame, where the old system is allowed to fail so a new controlled architecture can be installed. Great reset. This is the great reset of power that will define future generations. The convergence is creating a perfect storm. Look at the data. In the coming months, observe three critical indicators. First, the ratio of gold to fiat. Second, the spread between yields. Third, CBDC pilots. This will tell us the timeline for total financial surveillance. The summary is clear. Wealth is being concentrated, energy, finance information. The summary is clear. Invisible threads are pulled to concentrate power in those who control energy, finance, and information. The global tablero is being reset. Protection of your individual sovereignty depends on recognizing these patterns. To stay ahead, subscribe to this channel. We provide deep analysis and raw data. Our mission is the truth. Leave your opinion. Is the West done? The post-war order established at Bretton Woods was built on a rigid gold standard that the United States abandoned in 1971. The petrodollar was the cure. To truly understand this endgame, we must look back at the evolution of debt as a tool of control. History is repeating itself. The rise of BRICS+ represents the first real challenge to this unipolar system. They are not just a trade bloc, but a financial alternative. The decoupling is real. The Kissinger strategy secured the dollar's dominance for half a century by ensuring every barrel of oil was bought in US currency. This is what is breaking. We are entering an era of cyber financial warfare where the ability to disable a nation's payment system is more effective than bombs. Sovereignty is digital. Local currency trade is growing at an exponential rate, eliminating the need for the dollar intermediary. This is the draining of the dollar's liquidity pool. The impact is permanent. Those who remain rigid will break. Adaptability is the only defense. Position your assets, protect your wealth, and stay ahead of the narrative. The master plan is operational. This concludes our special extended report. Stay tuned for our next deep dive into the mineral wars. Thank you for your trust in Global News Agora. Stay vigilant. Knowledge is power. We will see you in the next analysis. Goodbye. Every great empire in history has collapsed under the weight of its own debt. The pattern is unmistakable. Excessive spending followed by devaluation and final collapse. We have seen this before in Weimar Germany and modern Venezuela. When the public loses faith in the currency, the end is swift. The dollar is not immune. As inflation accelerates, the velocity of money increases. People hurry to spend their paper before it loses more value. This is the final stage of currency death, the end game. The global real estate bubble is another symptom of this excessive liquidity. It is a parking spot for capital. You must build your own ark, diversify into hard assets, reduce your dependence on traditional banking, and increase your financial knowledge. Self-sovereignty is the only goal. The future of work is also changing. In a stagflationary world, your ability to provide real value outside the traditional system will be your greatest asset. The new economy is decentralized. The international institutions of the 20th century are becoming obsolete. New regional alliances are taking their place. The world is fragmenting into blocks of resource security. The master plan is adapting. This is the world your children will inherit. A world of total traceability and resource wars. But it is also a world of opportunity for those who see the truth. Stay bold. Stay informed. This is the final word on the petrodollar. The end is just the beginning. Join us on this journey. Goodbye for now. Look at the gold reserves. While the West has maintained stagnant levels, the East has been accumulating steadily. This is the real signal of power shift. Money is flowing to stability. Central banks are playing a high-stakes game of currency chess. They are positioning themselves for the moment the current system fails. The reset is being planned in plain sight. Are you ready? The shadow banking system is the true time bomb. It is opaque, unregulated, and massive. When the liquidity dries up, the explosion will be felt in every corner of the globe. The threads are tightening. China's resource security protocol is not just about mining. It is about controlling the entire life cycle of energy, from extraction to refining to distribution. This is total vertical integration, the new empire. Decentralized technology is your only defense against total traceability. Learn how to use it. Protect your data. Protect your assets. Sovereignty is not given. It is taken. The future is yours. We have covered the collapse of the petrodollar, the rise of the East, and the endgame of global debt. The world is transforming. Knowledge is the only currency that matters. Stay informed. Thank you for watching this special extended report. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below. Your perspective is part of the truth. Until next time, stay vigilant. This is Joan Calero for Global News Agra. Power to the informed. Goodbye. The cyclical nature of financial crashes is well documented. We are currently at the peak of the largest debt bubble in human history. The correction will be proportional. The world is unprepared. Currency is built on trust. Once that psychological thread snaps, no amount of central bank intervention can restore it. The battle for your trust is the battle for the dollar. Stay skeptical. The convergence of physical gold and digital assets is creating a new class of safe havens. Smart investors are hedging against the collapse of fiat with tangible and programmable value, the new gold standard. The recent diplomatic shifts in the Middle East are the final nail in the coffin of the petrodollar. Former adversaries are uniting to secure their own financial future outside the Western umbrella. The axis is forming. The transition will be turbulent. Reduce your debt, increase your liquidity in hard assets, and secure your logistical independence. The master plan is moving fast. You must move faster. The future belongs to the prepared. We are living through a period of radical transformation. The choices you make today will determine your wealth in the next decade. The invisible threads are revealed. The truth is yours. Thank you. This has been a Global News Agora exclusive report. Stay informed, stay vigilant, subscribe for weekly updates on the global power shift. Your wealth is your responsibility. Goodbye. Power to the people. Stay sharp until the next one. Joan Calero signing off. The decay of the petrodollar is not a loud explosion, but a silent rot from within. The trust that built the empire is evaporating, barrel by barrel. The world is watching the end of an era. By weaponizing the SWIFT system, the West has accelerated the search for alternatives. Nations now realize that their assets can be frozen at any time. Financial sovereignty is the new priority. The system is breaking. The new Silk Road is not just about railways. It is about a parallel financial system that bypasses the West entirely. The flow of capital is moving eastward at the speed of light. The reset is here. The debt trap is closing on the West with no fiscal exit. The only option left is to inflate away the obligations. Your savings are the sacrifice. The master plan is in operation. Protect yourself. 3 things to do today. First, buy physical hard assets. Second, diversify your currency exposure. Third, invest in your own education. The master plan is invisible no more. The truth is out. Act now. This concludes our comprehensive 20-minute report. The reconfiguration of the world order is the story of our lives. Stay with us as we follow the threads. Thank you for watching. Stay vigilant. Knowledge is the only permanent wealth. Joan Calero for Global News Agora. Until next time. The future is not set in stone. By understanding the master plan, you can position yourself to thrive. Thank you for joining this critical conversation. Stay bold, stay informed. Goodbye. The final thread is the future of energy. Beyond oil, new sources are emerging that will redefine geopolitics again. The master plan is already positioning for the post-hydrocarbon era. The wars of the future are being fought today. Whoever controls the next generation of energy will control the world. The transition is not just about the climate, but about survival and supremacy. The board is being reset. Are you prepared for the new era? Oil, debt, power, technology. The invisible threads are pulled. The reconfiguration is complete. Knowledge is your only defense. The truth has been revealed. Thank you for watching Global News Agora. This is the end of our special report. Stay vigilant. The master plan is always moving. Until the next time, goodbye. Stay vigilant. Stay informed. Knowledge is power. We will see you in the next analysis. Goodbye. Remember, the truth is the only wealth that cannot be devalued. Invest in it every day. Thank you for your trust. Joan Calero. Power to the informed. Goodbye for the last time in this report. Stay sharp. The debasement of the Roman denarius is the historical precursor to today's fiat devaluation. When the silver content dropped, the empire followed. The dollar is following the same path. History never lies. Since the creation of the Federal Reserve, the dollar has lost over 90% of its value. This is the modern debasement. The invisible thread of inflation is a century-old tool. The end is near. The world is moving toward a remonetization of gold. Nations are preparing to back their currencies with hard assets again. The era of pure fiat is coming to a turbulent end. The reconfiguration is accelerating. The survival portfolio of the future is tangible. Minimize your exposure to counterparty risk. The system is fragile and the threads are snapping. Position yourself for the new reality. The truth is your defense. The time for passivity is over. Educate yourself, protect your family, and secure your future. The master plan is operational, but so is your intelligence. Act now. The truth will set you free. Joan Calero. This concludes our definitive 20-minute special report on the petrodollar collapse. Stay vigilant, stay informed, subscribe to Global News Agora. Your wealth is your responsibility. Thank you. Power to the informed. Joan Calero signing off from the Agora. We will see you in the next report. Goodbye. Remember the lessons of history. The master plan is an old story with new tools. Stay sharp. Thank you for watching the full 20 minutes. Your time is your wealth. Global News, Agora, the truth behind the threads. Join us next time. Goodbye. The final component of the master plan is the total traceability of every transaction. CBDCs are not just digital money. They are a social control tool. The invisible cage is being built. Are you inside? You must learn to protect your financial privacy. Decentralized tools are the only way to maintain your sovereignty in the coming order. The battle for your freedom is fought in the data. Stay vigilant. Joan Calero. The world is transforming into a new architecture. It is a turbulent time, but for the informed, it is an era of opportunity. The invisible threads are revealed. The master plan is known. The future is yours. This has been a Global News Agora exclusive. Thank you for your trust. Stay vigilant, stay informed. Goodbye. Joan Calero signing off. Until next time, goodbye.